Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to Deb Chanel's 48th World, where we do reviews on a lot of different shows. Today's show I'm going to be going over is Wayward Pines. I'm taking you all the way back to season one. I did one particular episode, season one, episode one, and it was called Paradise Home, or from the series, but I just got so tied up into everything else, and I'm working now, so it's like I'm trying to get back to my throwbacks on the weekend for Saturday and Sundays, as well as, talking about different types of reality shows and shows like this, which I call a sci-fi show that kind of reminds me of the X-Files. But anyway, if y'all watched or haven't watched, please go back to the episode one, season one, for Wayward Pines, and catch up as I go on into finishing out the first season and hopefully getting into the second season prior to the summer ending. So you see, I have a lot to catch up on. But let's get on into it. We're going to be talking about Wayward Pines season one, episode two. Don't discuss your life. Okay, we have Terrence Howard, who is Sheriff Pope in Wayward Pines, and he gets a hold of Ethan out the car, because on last episode, Ethan was trying to leave Dodge. He was trying to get the hell out of Wayward Pines because he know this was not a town that was, livable, and these people in the town were crazy. But pretty much when you try to leave Wayward Pines, you're either going to end up getting ate up by the Abbeys, which are the aliens, or I call demons pretty much, or you're going to get shot and killed. So either way, those are your two escape plans. Either get eaten by the Abbeys or getting killed by Sheriff Pope or whoever is going to be in charge at that time. And they call that the reckoning. When you try to leave that particular town, they deal with you internally, meaning you know the rules, you don't discuss your past, you just don't do anything but live there and try to be happy. The money that you do earn is counterfeit. So it just try to give you some normalcy of living in a town where there's no crime, there's nothing but like a perfect utopia type of living. But that's not what's going on in this particular town. But anyway, like I said, Ethan tries to escape. Sheriff Pope locates him, pretty much threatens him that he's pretty much on the investigation. He can't leave town, and they're going to let the real professionals come in from Boise, Idaho, to take a look at his friend or service agent that got killed, that he inadvertently discovered the body and brought it to Officer Pope's or Sheriff Pope's attention, which Officer Pope, he already knew that the body was there. But to keep up the front, he has to go through the formalities. But anyway, as Sheriff Pope gets Ethan out of his car, pretty much is sternly talking to him about never trying to leave again or risk dying. Some kids just ride by. And of course, everybody knows everybody in this town, because I think it's less than 1,000 population that's in the town right now. And Terrence asked one of the boys that's riding by the scene with him holding Ethan at gunpoint. He told him to tell Ethan what's the rule. And the boy stopped, and Adam says, which is the little boy Officer Pope was talking to, he said, "Don't try to leave, Mr. Burke." And then he rides on. I'm like, oh my Lord, this town is crazy. But anyway, Ethan is back at the hotel awaiting future instructions, because Officer Pope told him to get to that hotel, don't leave no more, because he's pretty much watching him. The whole town is watching him. So, like I said, he goes back to wait future instructions. Oh, excuse me. And he just gets tired. The alarm bell wakes him up. Well, he really wasn't asleep, but the alarm bell wakes him up for the next day. He hurries downstairs to try to find the guy who's operating or managing the hotel, but he don't find anybody. So he goes and gets to probing or investigating on his own. So he goes behind the desk and be looking up stuff or looking at stuff to try to tell him what date this is, what date this is. Some type of a news article on that particular town. And then as he, goes behind the attendant's desk slash managers. He finds the attendant that's supposed to be in charge of the hotel. He finds Ethan back there behind his desk, and he asks or confronts Ethan, "Who told you to go behind the desk?" Ethan totally ignores him and asks for a newspaper or something to tell him about this town. But the guy tells Ethan they only had the Wayward Pines Chronicle news, but they are behind on issuing out those episodes. They're about 2 weeks behind, so don't expect anything. Then Ethan leaves the hotel and goes back to where he found Agent Evans' body. But the attendant tries to tell him, you can't leave this hotel, but Ethan ain't standing that boy. And he runs on by, he's gonna do what he got to do. And so Ethan finds a map. He gets to the particular house that he found Agent Evans at, and he finds a map that Evans had drawn up and was trying to do his escape plan before they did a reckoning on him, which is pretty much killing him in town square where everybody can be privy to it, because you're not supposed to run from this town. You're supposed to live there till you die. And it's just a hot mess in that town, because nobody, however they found you, when you get to that town, is pretty much how you're preserved. There's something about the atmosphere, whatever, you never get old. It's just almost like you can get 1,000 years old and you'll still look how you once were when you were brought into the town initially. Which, where you can get that kind of fountain of youth at, you know what I'm saying? And no health problems, it seems, that is also going on too. Everybody's well. Because the hospital is pretty much for newcomers, trying to get them in check. Nobody else is sick or nothing out the ordinary is going on, unless we're talking about birth, childbirth or whatever. Anyway, like I said, Ethan finds the map in the agent's Evans' boot when Officer Pope comes up and behind him and asks him, "What part of stay in your room at the hotel you don't understand?" Then Officer Pope pulls out a shotgun, cocked, ready to pull the trigger when Ethan turns around to face him. Ethan says he didn't realize he was under house arrest. Now, they're both at this abandoned house trying to, look up. Well, Ethan's trying to find out more evidence of how his body got there, this, that, and the other. Then Ethan is trying to explain to Officer Pope that he was just getting clues. Officer Pope says, let the professionals do their job, okay? Meaning he telling Ethan, just sit back and relax. You're not an officer anymore of the law or any agent. Just forget about that. That's your past life. But, Ethan ain't trying to hear all that. They ain't finna MK Ultra his behind. No, ma'am. They ain't finna do no psychological warfare on his mind and make him forget his past just to be assimilated into their way of thinking and their little world. It's y'all got the wrong joker for that. So Ethan goes in to see Beverly to find more answers. She asks Ethan to dance with her because she's afraid the microphones behind the counter will pick up their conversation. He goes on to tell Beverly, as they're dancing, about the map. She tells him to meet her after work, which is after 4, so they can discuss a plan of action, meaning getting the hell out of that town. We go to Ethan. Ethan goes to the local diner and makes a phone call to what he thinks is the Seattle office, the bureau that he works for, and he gets the same lady he's spoken to time and time out again when he's trying to call home and tell his wife where he is, or when he's trying to get in contact with his superior, Adam, somebody. But before she tries to play a trick on him again, he wants to play a trick on her. And so he asks the receptionist, is she at the 7th floor reception desk at the bureau? She tries not to answer, but he don't let her off the hook that easily. So she states she's at the desk on the 7th floor. And she goes on to say she was, but Ethan blows her cover by saying no. There is no 7th floor at the bureau, and he wants her to answer him right then and there what's going on. And the lady just hangs up the phone because her cover has been blown. Then Ethan finds out from the waitress at the restaurant that Kate works at the toy store in town. So we go back to it like in the past or in our future, which is totally different from their present. Ethan's wife, Teresa, and Ben are waiting on Ethan to contact them. Of course, he never does, but he does, but they don't know because the town is just centered in that area, and all the calls that are trying to be made out, they're actually being in-housed. So they ain't getting outside to the outside world. Okay. We go back to Ethan. Ethan goes over to the toy store to talk with Kate, and he remembers Kate and the affair they had years ago, playing back in his memory banks as he's going, to the store to talk with her. Ethan goes in the toy store and have a small little chit chat with his past friend, Kate. He's inquiring what the hell is going on in this town when Harold comes out to see if Kate's okay. This is her fictitious husband that they don't match her up with, because she's been in the town over 12 years, but it's pretty much been like 5 or 6 weeks that she's been gone in our reality. But anyway, that's something you should have caught a hold to on my first episode of this particular series. So if you didn't catch that one, go back to one, then you can catch up with me. But anyway, Kate introduces her husband Harold formally to Ethan, and both men are cordial with one another. Then Harold seeing everything kind of being copacetic, so he leaves to go back to his shop in the back to work on his little toys or whatever they got him doing, because he wasn't that as they brought him excuse me to the town also, and he had to assimilate into another whole different way of thinking and being and whatnot. He left a fiance in the real world, which is our world, but hey, they have long past known that they stuck in that town. They ain't getting out no way, no how. So anyway, Ethan asked Kate about this fake money running rampant through this town, and he asking her, "Do you notice that this is fake money? This is in late 80s, money we're dealing with." And Kate goes on to tell Ethan, Agent Evans was married and he has a widow still in town, and who barely goes out of the house since Agent Evans committed suicide or whatever had happened, of the story they told them. And she's just been like a home bunny ever since he died. She don't come out. They have a newborn, da 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 da. Ethan tells her Evans wasn't married. What's wrong with you, Kate? And Kate goes on to give Ethan a little more clues, more hints, like catch what I'm trying to tell you. To go see her, and she starts giving Ethan directions to the house, and Ethan catches on about her clues she's trying to drop to him and leaves the toy store. But before he leaves the toy store, he noticed the sign on the wall that states the rules of town. And it's, it pretty much is like, which they don't, the rules are plain and simple. You don't try to leave, you don't discuss your past, and if the telephone rings, you automatically picks it up and see who's on the other end, etc., etc., etc. And of course, Ethan ain't paying nothing to that shit. He like, I'm getting out of this town. I don't care what y'all got hooked up in here, but it ain't got nothing to do with me. So Ethan goes over to see Evan's widow. She answers the door, and Ethan and her have a little small chit chat. And he's still trying to tell her, who are you, because he never had no wife and this, that, and that. And he goes in to say Evans got murdered. She said, my husband murdered. He killed himself. And da da da. It's just a whole lot of confusion. She ended up pushing Ethan out her doorway so she can shut her door, and then she go on and drop a dime and call Sheriff Pope to tell what had transpired between her and Ethan, so she don't get in any trouble. But it is what it is. Ethan goes to visit Officer Pope anyway at the police station, and Arlene, the receptionist, are going around and about in circles with one another. When Officer Pope just hears the conversation, he comes out to address Ethan up front. And he tells Ethan his ice cream and his cone has been up to no good. And he tells Ethan he's also hasn't been up to no good because he's not following his instructions that Officer Pope gave him 2 times prior to this conversation. So somehow they work their way back in the back where, the jail cells are and stuff. And Ethan is looking crazy at Officer Pope while Arlene is looking and listening to the entire conversation. He tells Ethan he might need to update his living quarters to a jail cell. Sheriff Pope is telling the story about Ethan's accident and how he got in town to Ethan again to just make sure he's trying to understand the scenario, and he needs to play it well because he's tired of talking to him about that. Ethan wants to go to the hospital to visit the body. But Sheriff Poe says, no, leave it to the professionals. I don't told you, you're not an officer of the law. You're not a service agent anymore. You came to this town with a bad concussion. You still have fluid on your brain that the doctors want to go on and correct for you, but you're just not acting right. And pretty much, he trying to give him a lobotomy. He like, you ain't gonna operate. I ain't giving y'all no consent, so get the fuck out of here, pretty much. Ethan says it's okay, but he goes straight to the hospital anyway. He ain't listen to nothing with Sheriff Poe talking about. So Ethan gets to the house, or the hospital, and finds the map Evans was hiding in his boot. When Pam walks up, in the back of him, talking to him, Mr. Bird. Pam makes some sick, she goes on to talk with him about what he doing there, this, that, and the other. He like, I'm just checking on everything, making sure everything flowing good. I see they don't came and picked up the body, so I'm cool. So they both kind of look at each other kind of crazy. And then Pam makes like a sick joke about he can't wait to see his wife again so he can get to banging her brains out. I'm thinking, Pam is going through some hormonal changes, or she probably want to have sex with Ethan, and she just trying to drop some hints. Who knows? Pam crazy as hell. Okay. Ethan walks out into the hall area, and he sees two orderlies rushing in, who he thinks he's seen his wife on the stroller and his son. So he rushes to see them, but can't seem to find them because the hospital big, and I don't know, maybe Pam had gave him a little anesthetic by touching him, who knows. But he does see what he sees. They just not letting him know that his family is in town, that they got him, because they were on their way looking for his behind anyway. But he does find the doctor that tried to operate on him, and the doctor tell him that no one else has been admitted in this hospital. You're going through a delusional type state of being. The doctor's trying to mess with Ethan's mind is what he's trying to do. Ethan's looking at him crazy, like, yeah, you trying to do that mind trick on me again. It ain't gonna work. Ethan gets up from the bed and walks out and passes Pam in the interim. We're going to float back to the past where Rich is the future, in a sense. Teresa's talking with Adam about where the hell is her husband, meaning Ethan's supervisor. She's talking with him on the phone because they ain't heard nothing. Ain't nothing been on the news about no accident, no fatalities or nothing. And they trying to figure out what's going on, especially being his son. He's around his mother while she's talking to Ethan's boss, Adam, to tell, just try to find out some stuff. And then she goes in and try to ask personal information because, when you're deep undercover, you're not supposed to give up the agent's name, whereabouts, and stuff like that nature. But Teresa thought she was kind of close to Adam, that he would divulge where her husband is or where he was sent to go, on an assignment. And she's expressing he's in Boise, Idaho. But Adam won't tell her nothing. Then she goes in to say, well, where is Agent Kate? Because Agent Kate was Ethan, her husband's partner at some time. Then they had an affair, and then it went, its course, and then they broke up. And Ethan wanted to stay with his wife, and he told her about the affair, but that stuff never dies down or gets old. So she's thinking they're out cavorting with each other, but it has nothing to do with that. And she's gonna shortly find out the truth of the matter, as time press on and through this episode. So Ethan shows, we go back to Ethan. Ethan shows Beverly the map. She says before they tried to run her dead or deceased Evans, they had to take out his microchip. So he's like, I've been chipped. So she goes on and says where it could possibly be, and they're trying to dig in his leg and get the chip out, which they do. So they find themselves going over, what they can remember prior to them getting into that particular state or town. And she goes to say, I've been here a year because I was brought here in 1999. Ethan was brought there in 2000, which was 5 days ago. So he's not understanding the time warp because she said she was just been there. It's been a year. He's been there several years because when he was brought there, it was year 2014. So we're talking some years span in between here, but that's just 5 days ago in Ethan's language of understanding stuff. So he goes on and asking her who's the president, and she's saying Bill Clinton. He says, so you ain't never heard of no Obama, right? So she's like, no. So it's just he's asking her about 9/11 and all these other episodes that had transpired in our time zone. But She like, no, Bill Clinton was the president at the time, and that's all she remembers. He's like, oh, this is really fucked up. So we go back to both Beverly and Ethan discussing how she she tried to escape, who was the president, when she was abducted, why there are no names on the headstones in the cemetery that they're at, who killed Agent Evans, which Ethan finds out by Beverly that Sheriff Hope actually killed him. Beverly tells him she hasn't seen a single plane in the air either. No one drives their cars. And, Ethan figured out everything is motion sense with their implants they planted into everybody because when they walked by, um, Beverly had her chip on her, and Ethan had her heels, and the motion cameras towards this past. They were walking past a camera store, and it had tracked them. But then that's something Agent Ethan had learned from just being in the bureau and of things to watch for and things that are not normal. So he left his chip with Beverly, and he went back by the cameras just to see will it pick up anything, and it didn't. The cameras didn't move or anything, so he knew the chip is like a sensor that keeps tabs on every citizen in that particular town. So with the removal of the chip, they almost come like they're invisible. So that was a good thing. That helps with his plan when he's trying to break camp. So as they're walking down in a little town or whatever discussing stuff, they run into Kate and Harold. And Kate crazy anyway. She don't want nobody with Ethan. She still got a jealous heart and stuff in there. So she pretty much they run into them, and Kate asks Ethan and Beverly to dinner because she's asking them whether they're a couple or not. They can't get their story straight. So she invited them to dinner so she can be a little bit more nosy is what it was. And of course Ethan accepts her invitation. So then we leave from there. We go back to the time zone that we're supposed to be in. Teresa and Ethan's wife, Teresa, and Teresa's sister are sitting down at home on the couch, and they're discussing the plan of action that they want to take. She said she's going to go find Ethan herself, and she wants her sister to babysit her son, but her son overhears the conversation. She's like, ain't nobody babysitting me. I'm going with you, Mom. We're a team. So he takes no for an answer, so she knows she's not going to win that battle. So they're going to leave the next day to set out to go find Ethan. So we leave that situation. We go back to Ethan. Ethan is doing some investigating of his own. He takes his chip out and places it in the bed under the cover. So if anything comes up, they think he's still in the bed, which he's not. He's gonna be out in the forest trying to look around the terrain to see, to match up the map that Agent Evans had to see how they can try to get out of there. And we leave that situation. We go to Arlene and Pam. They're at the restaurant where Beverly works, and she's also there. And they're going on the comments and goings, talking about Ethan and how he's just acting a fool, like out himself and this, that, and that. And then Arlene goes in to make a point to Pam that Beverly and Ethan have gotten close, and Beverly's trying to make them understand that no, she has to talk with everybody that comes into place, because that's what she does. She's a waitress and she's a bartender as well. So everybody wants to come and tell their stories to her. She has to listen. So she's pretty much covering up the story, but they have buying it, but it is what it is, They trusted her at this point, but they're still keeping their eye on her. Then we go to Ethan. Ethan picks up Beverly and they go to dinner. Kate not Kate, Beverly really don't want to go, but since Kate had, in a sense, twisted their arm, and then, he just really want to check out the scenery and how close they are and stuff. So they both being nosy on each other. But anyway, he picks up Beverly. They walks to Kate and Howard's house for dinner. And, Beverly's just so nervous, and Ethan's trying to calm her down and relax and tell her, plan of action is going to be tonight. We're going to get out of here. You're going to be able to see your daughter, this, that, and the other. Just calm down. But, she is frantic. She is just totally out of sorts. And we go to Beverly, we're still on Beverly. She's nervous that she, she's scared that she's gonna do some crazy shit. So anyway, they get to the dinner, they're sitting down there talking and this, that, and that, and everything seemed to be going fine because he's there. He's trying to talk for her because he's noticed she's just so nervous. So he was just like, let me get on with this plan so we can get the hell out of here for this lady blow our cover and then we really be through. So they had talked over a plan that when it's time to put the plan in action, he's going to excuse himself from dinner. He's going to go check out their bathroom to make sure there's no hidden cameras or microphones or anything like that, so they can ditch their their chip, or Beverly can ditch her chip in the bathroom because he's already ditched his by putting his up under Kate and Harold's dining table that they're eating at, or dinner table that they're eating at. So it makes like they're still there with them. In essence, once they leave, they're not. They're gonna be like in the woods trying to escape. But while he's in the bathroom scoping things out, Harold and Kate are making conversation with Beverly, but Beverly's just so nervous, and Kate asks her some kind of question, and then Beverly goes on to say, she had a daughter and she's important, and then she realized she slipped up. Um, that she had a daughter back in her past, which they're not supposed to be discussing their past and stuff. She just gets so upset, and when Ethan comes back to let her know she can go into the bathroom, she just leaves and jumps up and goes to the bathroom and stuff. And then she just so nervous, in the bathroom, she just actually just get frantic. She leaves her chip there, like playing, but she runs out the house without poor Ethan. And then, she's been gone for a pretty length of time. And Kate gets up from the table saying she's going to go check on her. And he's like, no, I'm going to go check on her. Don't worry about it. Sit down, whatever. So Ethan goes into the bathroom and finds her not there. So he's trying to think of another plan so he can get out the house and go find her so they can try to go on and escape because, pretty much the cover had been blown. And he comes back to the table and said that Beverly pretty much got sick. She's outside waiting on him, and they're going to call it a night, and hopefully they can get together in the near future. So, of course, Kate don't buy the story, and Harold, he's oblivious. So, pretty much, Ethan exits out, and once he does get outside, he does find her, and she's just totally off the radar with nerves, and she's just like, oh, we're going to get in trouble, we're going to get in trouble. So, phasing back a little bit, we go back in the house where Harold and Kate are discussing what they feel that Ethan and Beverly are about to do. So Harold asks Kate, you think they're going to run? She said, hell yeah, they finna run. And, pretty much Kate didn't have to say anything, but, it would have brought some heat on them because they would have been totally investigated trying to figure out, well, what y'all say, what y'all didn't say, well, why y'all didn't call us this, that, and the other. But I still think she could have covered for them just to see how far they could get. But, she felt like she ain't going to be letting Beverly out of town. And she can't get out because, she never tried to get out. She's just making up all these elaborate escape plans and, in the future and future scenes that I'll tell y'all about. But she just wanted everybody to stay there and be miserable with her. But Beverly had like, I missed my chance the first time because the agent left me. But I know that Ethan's not going to leave me. And he wasn't going to leave. But anyway, Kate going and dropped that dime on them. So they running through the town. Trying to get to the safe place, which is the cemetery, get the backpack that Agent Evans had, and supply gear that they needed, to be out there in the wilderness and stuff. And he know they're not gonna make it, so he knows she's been in the town, she's ready to leave. He'll take the heat, and he tries to tell her to go get the stuff and leave. Just follow them out. But he should have known she was too weak. She couldn't pull that off herself. So anyway, he forces her to try to go, and she goes her separate way. He goes his separate way, and he's trying to get them to come after him. But eventually, they end up finding her. They drag her behind to the center square where the reckoning, meaning the killing, is going to take place. And Ethan, he done got safe haven. He back at the hotel, pretty much looking at everything from the window and the angry mob outside. But he didn't realize that Beverly had gotten, held hostage, or they had caught her. But he finally saw who they were hanging up there. Like, somebody hanging on a cross, like, Yeshua or Jesus Christ was being crucified. They had her up in the middle of the square, and Sheriff Pope was sitting up there, egging them on and everything. But anyway, they eventually killed her when Sheriff Pope just slashed her throat. And everybody was like, like someone was disgusted. Someone was like, yeah, she shouldn't have ran. And then, Kate is sitting up there looking like a fool along with her husband, Harold. But, she going to get hers in episodes coming up, which is in the second season. She does survive this first season, but yeah, she get killed in the next one. So it's all good. She ended up killing herself, but, that was a little, information I gave y'all ahead of time. Y'all probably won't remember. But just know she gets her karma, has a way of reaching back to how she did poor Beverly. And the only thing Beverly wanted to do is just get out of town and get back with her daughter. But anyway, she was wrecking on this particular episode, so she's not in any future episodes. And pretty much the next day, Teresa and Ben, which is Ethan's family, they set out to find him. So that was pretty much it of this episode, guys. It was real good. And like I said, I'm going to get y'all up to where we at, which is in season 2. But I have to go through season 1 for y'all to pretty much enjoy it or be kind of familiar with the characters that are being played. So you'll understand, because a lot of characters don't make it out to season 2. So that's all I got at Wayward Pines. This was... The title was Don't Discuss Your Life, Season 1, Episode 2. Please enjoy it. Share it with your friends and family members who are kind of like sci-fi techies, because it's all about, to me, the New World Order, how they want us to be, how they want us to figure out our past and get with the new program. And, you're going to have some rebels. And more than likely, I will be one of those rebels trying to, I ain't finna conform to this type of living. And they're going to have to end up, killing me, because I believe in Yeshua, Jesus Christ, died to save me from my sins. And the Father sent him into this world to be a martyr, to be able to do that. So, yeah, I will probably be one of those people that get martyred off for the cause. Because I ain't getting down with this chipping me and all this stuff. And serving the beast and all this stuff. No way. So, like I said, stay tuned for episode 3 of season 1 coming shortly. All right. Blessings to you all. Take care. Bye.